So if you want to be a great entrepreneur, a maverick entrepreneur, go out and serve everyone in the world so that their life improves. And if you focus on that, there's no way you could ever fail in business.
That's so good. Welcome to the Maverick Entrepreneur Podcast, where business success meets personal purpose. Here we empower entrepreneurs to strike that perfect balance between massive growth and unwavering values. Dive deep into strategies, inspirations, and stories that ensure you set your foundation in faith and don't compromise your family on your ascent to the top. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Maverick Entrepreneur. Here we are doing a series of I figured we're kicking off the new year. I want to talk about all things health related, what you can do in your life to get it stirred, because if you are not healthy, mind, body, and spirit, I know you will not be able to do what God has designed you to do radical things, whether it's in the business world, your personal world, living your life, showing up and representing for your family, and most importantly, showing up and representing for yourself. So, been a chiropractor for 23 years, and I am personally fired up about this new administration with RFK Jr., and I'm going to bring in everybody that I respect in this field that can help you, the Maverick Entrepreneur, level up your life in all the ways. So, with me today, the one and only, I was going to butcher your last name again. I've done it for so long. This is Ash. Say your last name for me.
Ghandehari.
What's that mean?
Wild sugar cube.
A wild
Sugar cube.
I love it. The guy that's in the health industry is a wild sugar cube. I love it.
Not a generic sugar cube. Wild.
Yeah. So, thank you for being on this podcast show, whatever we call it these days.
Thanks you. I'm honored, and I love what you're doing. I think it's so important.
Well,
so
we'll find out. You know, I don't like being a noisy gong in a noisy world. Mm-hmm. So the whole thing is, I want to bring on people that actually have something to say, that have the fruit to back it up. And man, I've known you. I don't know how many years it's been, but we've been in the same circles from, I don't know. Would you know?
Yeah, about 7-8 years.
7-8 years, yeah. And just watched your journey. And give everybody a little bit of your background.
Okay. Well, a little bit of my background, I'm an immigrant to the United States, but
yeah.
Even though my wife says I'm not an immigrant, I still consider myself an immigrant because I was only a year old when my parents decided to move to Iran. So I lived in Iran for 12 years and then moved back, when I was in 6th grade roughly. And I've been in the beverage industry, just on the professional side. So Fast forwarding on my life, I've ended up in the beverage industry. And ironically, I later find out that my father was a president of PepsiCo Middle East.
Wow.
So sometimes, you could, I think Steve Jobs said this, you connect the dots backwards.
Yeah.
And I've done that recently.
It's in your DNA.
It's in my DNA. And so, since I believe in God, I always go, wow, you know what? I'm not connecting the dots backwards. There was a plan that I got to live in. And when I look at it, I go, wow, how perfectly designed it is. Because now I look at it in this moment in my life, and I can't imagine what the future looks, but I could see how there's so many connection points that had brought me to this moment.
That's so crazy. I mean, and you've been just in some high-profile worlds of just doing entrepreneurial stuff. I mean, the one thing I've always respected about you, I mean, you married another entrepreneur.
Yes.
She's a little feisty entrepreneur.
Powerhouse, Chanel Sumter. Yes.
Bro, I think if anyone is out there just crushing things, your wife
100%
is on the top of that list.
It is.
And it's been inspiring to watch you and your wife, the journey you're on, and just watching you too. You've been a pursuer. You're passionate about Jesus. You're passionate about your faith.
Thanks to Awaken.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
I would say you can have everything right there, but you still, it's all we have. We all have a gift, and we all can activate it, but guess what? We have to desire. We have to pursue. So we could have all the things out there, even for in the health stuff. We could talk about all this great stuff.
Yeah.
But people still have to pursue and desire excellence or that thing. And you just had a pursuit, and I've watched, God really unlock some stuff, and it's been cool to watch. You and your wife here. blowing up and
Thank you.
making cute babies. And
Yeah, we're excited.
what nationality? Like, what's your background?
Iranian.
Iranian, 100%.
100% Iranian.
Dude, you're a good-looking cat.
Thank you, man.
I was like, dude, he's a good-looking guy. It's intimidating. But I mean, I didn't know what the whole background was. So you moved here.
So I moved here, early on, I would say in school, I really struggled. I mean, I considered myself ESL, I think, till the day I graduated from high school. And there's, and I wrote a little about it, this history, not for me to share my story, but to impact other people's lives. And through that journey of writing, I really realized how broken I am and how saved I am.
Yeah. Aren't we all?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the brokenness really of a young 12-year-old coming to America during the time that, a lot of turmoil between U.S. and Iran specifically, and being called a terrorist in 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, and being called a terrorist when I was in the United States Marine Corps. I was another fellow Marine here. And
hoorah.
Yeah, hoorah. And being called a terrorist and being called alphabet by the, drill instructors, which is their job to do, is treat you in a way that gets you angst up so you could really survive.
Yeah.
But I used that survival mechanism for so many years of my life. And my survival mechanism was success.
Yeah.
To be better, to show people. But it was never for me or for a greater cause.
I mean, you and your wife are kicking butt on. You put your mind to something. I just noticed you're the guy that gets it done.
Yes.
Like, how do you help people that I don't know anybody that says, I want to be broke.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that want to be successful, and deep down, like, they might have a desire, they might have an idea. What's the difference? I mean, you guys might see this. I'm not drinking this water, by the way. This is not water. This is your company.
Yes.
Hyburst.
Yes.
That we're going to talk about. And this is not your first thing you've done. You've been successful in many other things. Your wife has been successful. Yep. Matter of fact, so successful you had to move to Puerto Rico.
Yes.
I'm going to have to come join you.
Yes, you must. You must come join us. It's an amazing place to live, and I'm a big endorser of Puerto Rico.
I mean, all my friends, every time they get successful, I literally have 4 or 5 friends. They all move there. I'm like, would you guys knock it off? I mean,
we got to tell us who they are so we can meet them there.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, the story really comes together in this sense. I strive for success to climb the ladder in the corporate arena. I started a couple of companies along the journey. One I licensed off in Japan during a recession in the apparel industry. And but I was really climbing the ladder not for a purpose really truly behind it, outside of selfish purpose, to be to feel fulfilled. Mm-hmm. I guess you call it man's search for meaning or man's search for success or fulfillment. Yeah. I think people say these things in a lot of ways, and every time I would hit the pinnacle, it felt like I didn't get there. The first pinnacle being education. I was not good in school. I was actually told maybe school's not for you, and later on I ended up at Pepperdine. I got multiple degrees, and so I got to the success. And I remember my dad asked me to take a picture on the lawns in Pepperdine. Unfortunately, they're on fire today, but. And
is that school burning down?
Yeah, there was a fire around.
No, it's still there, gnarly. I just didn't know.
No, the school's there. I think they had a lot of people in the cafeteria, but thank God everything's good right now. But I remember he's saying, let's take a picture, and my mom was traveling, and it was just my sister and my dad, and I'm like, okay, let's do that. I mean, why? Yeah. Like, that was kind of like how nonchalant I was about, completing this journey. And it's because I was like, honing in like, what's next? Yeah. Where do I go next? What do I got to do next? So I could feel something. I was searching this, like, I got to feel something, and come to fruition. In 2016, I was involved with this company in the food, beverage, supplement industry, helping the natural industry really rise up. I mean, the natural trade show, when I joined it, was literally one hall with a lot of people with long hair and barefoot walking in the Anaheim Convention Center called Expo West. Yeah. And that now is pretty much all of Anaheim. I mean, that show has taken over Anaheim because the natural industry has just grown so much. It exploded. I was part of that explosion. I call it, God putting me there. I used to call it luck, but it was really God. And I grew quite a bit there professionally. I was involved with the company. I was there for 35 years. I came in just to move the dial to really position them for either an exit or solidify their position in the marketplace. Long story short, this small company grew. It sold to our number one client, Monster Beverage Company, for $697 million.
$697 million.
Yeah, exactly. And pretty much everyone in the company was there for 35 years. And here's this new kid on the block, you know, at the time, trying to implement some changes so that we can increase the valuation. So long story short, you know, we won business for Herbalife, and we created Nature Made gummy vitamins for Nature Made. And we did Emergency, reflavored them, repositioned them, they sold to Pfizer. So the business grew considerably. And of course, Monster crushed it.
I can't believe Emergency sold to Pfizer.
Yeah. Can you believe that?
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
I mean, they're smart, though. They go, hey, listen, we can't just be known as this. We're going to have these other. I mean, they're smart to diversify.
100%. And you know what? That's the game, right? These natural companies come into marketplace. And I can tell you that when the industry started, it was a lot of people that wanted to bring better products to the marketplace.
Yes.
Unfortunately, as I got to the latter part of my time in the natural product industry before my next chapter started, in April 10th, 2016, when we sold the company was sold April 1st, 2016. I resigned on April 10th, 2016, because I was no longer going to be doing what we were doing. I was going to be involved with Monster Beverage Company. In fact, I left the boardroom with the chairman, vice chairman of the board that day, giving my basically disclosures and resignation. Not because I was initially going to sign up, is a long story. I was initially going to go for it. I was going to jump in, but I had a newborn. I lived in Orange County at the time. My then girlfriend with our baby lived in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
And the morning I was about to go to sign those documents, I saw my little boy Zach standing up looking at the ocean in front of our house, because we had an oceanfront property in Solana Beach.
Oh, I remember.
And I saw him open arms, and I was like, I cannot not be in his life.
Yeah.
And also, I'm an Ironman athlete. I do 2 Ironmans a year, and here I am going to basically serve all the kids in the world that think these athletes are cool, that they think they're drinking Monster, but they're not. I'm going to go serve them with caffeine and what, you know, Steve Jobs calls sugar water, right? So I was like, I can't sign with this Monster. I need to get out. And I don't know what it's going to look like. It was the most nerve-wracking moment. And any entrepreneur, anyone that was corporate and turned entrepreneur or decides entrepreneurship, realizes there's this moment that you get that clarity. Like, I'm going to go for it, but I'm scared crapless.
Yeah.
And so I faced that moment. I faced that moment of being really scared. And I remember coming back in, and I put a disclosure, and I actually put the name Hyburst on my disclosure, saying, hey, I'll come in because I want to keep integrity. I'll help transition, but for 2 years max. And I need you to know that I can't do a non-compete or anything like that, because it would be out of integrity for me, even though it doesn't stand in California. But I'm going to launch a product called Hyburst. Now, 4 months later, they brought out a product called Hydro. So 4 months, within 4 months, they had a new product in the marketplace called Hydro. So that was interesting. But by the time I left in 2016, the industry, and I thought I was never going back, the whole Anaheim Convention Center was basically owned by the big boys.
Yep.
Campbell Soup bought several companies.
Yeah.
Natural, you had Pepsi, Coke involved. And so it went
I used to go to that convention.
Yeah.
And then when I noticed who was all behind all the stuff, I said, this is all going to turn to crap.
Yeah. And that's what they do. And that's what happens. So long story, I shifted out of the industry, actually. I didn't do anything with this. I launched a soft launch, put a little bit of money behind it. And I was like, this doesn't change the world.
Yeah.
This is not going to change the world for me.
Yeah.
And I decided to go into mentorship and leadership and coaching and mentoring people. So Shannon and I started a leadership division. And it's something amazing when you see people's lights go on.
Yeah.
You see the light bulb, like you see their eyes just change. You see it like where they go, wow, there's something inside of me.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me when I made the transition.
Yeah.
So in 2016, because I invested about 2 years just working on me as a person. Who am I?
Yeah.
What's my calling? What would I create in life? What do I want my life to mean? Not so much for
And how
me.
old were you at the time? Because that's like, it's
37 years old.
yeah. So it's not like you were 20s just trying to
No.
find yourself.
No, I was
You've already
37.
been successful. You've already climbed up the ladder. You've already
Yeah, when
exited.
exactly, like you're sitting in a room, and this is like April 10th, 2016. I'm sitting in a room and I'm looking across and trying to make a decision in my life.
Yeah.
It's really a moment. Like you're trying to make a decision.
Yeah.
Looking at all the, how I've been taught in school to think about decisions, which is write down pros and cons, come up with 5 strategies, pick one out of the 3, which is, this is like, strategy 101 from
Totally.
maybe 501 from my grad school. How do I come up with this strategy and this business decision in my life? And it's like, wait a minute, it's my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm looking at the wrong things. I'm looking at money. I'm looking at, the office building. I'm looking at my travel and how many vacation days. I'm looking at the wrong things. Like that's when I realized I'm just looking at the wrong things. So as I'm looking at it, and I know where I'm going with this, but I'm still struggling inside, and it's like friction inside going on in my mind and my soul. So in that moment, I looked and I said, wait a minute, I'm having the same feeling that I've had when I graduated from Pepperdine.
Mm.
I'm sitting in front of 2 of the most successful people I know in our world today, in my world, in my industry. Billionaires, at the time it was like, I think, $2.5 billion company with a $20 billion market cap. And now it's much more than that. Now it's a $5 billion company. And I knew that I could be part of that. And my ego, or whatever you want to call it, my need to be successful, my need to be able to be prideful or to be somebody.
Yeah.
In that moment, I realized, hey, you know what? They're no different than me. And this too feels meaningless and unimportant.
Good for you, man.
And that was the moment
That's a tough call. I know a lot of people can't walk away from that.
Yeah. And so in that moment, I was like, I'm trying to make a decision when it's really a simple choice. What is my life? What is the life if I didn't have anything else materialistic, or society telling me what it needs to be, or my past telling me what it needs to be? If I didn't have any of this, what is the most important thing I need to focus on? And in that moment, I realized it's family. But it was much more than that.
Yeah, yeah. That's amazing, man. What a journey.
Yeah, it was an incredible journey.
So 2016, you did the leadership for a couple years. 2018, your wife's still in it.
Yeah, my wife and I ran the business together for about since 2016, actually, till last year. And it was all about just helping and serving people. In fact, I remember coming to prayer circles with you.
Yeah.
And I used to keep asking, and I was like, God, just help me serve people.
Yeah.
And I in my head, I'm thinking, I'm praying to help me serve people. And I'm like, I'm serving people, but help me serve people. Like, God, use me. And I couldn't, and I thought there was moments I was like, maybe it's my book, or maybe it's another division, or maybe it's me doing it on my own versus us together as husband and wife. And what I realized is it wasn't that, because when we got to Puerto Rico, God put some people in front of me, and I'm like, wait, I need to give life to that idea, Hyburst again. Yeah.
So here we are.
Yeah, here we are. And so the intention behind that was like, okay, I got to put a healthy alternative in front of people, number one. But it's not really about the product, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
It's I want to deliver a message to people.
Yeah.
And not ironically, God had planted all this. Like I said, you could connect the dots backwards.
Yeah.
I did a case study, for one of my business classes at Pepperdine, and it was around Snapple.
Yeah, I remember Snapple.
Yeah, Snapple. You remember the little messages on the bottom? They sold to Dr. Pepper Snapple Group. I mean, they sold several times.
No way. I remember those messages.
Yeah, they sold several times. And, of course, the big conglomerates destroyed the brand.
Yeah.
And so what they used to do is they had these little messages on the bottom of the cap. And I'm like, what if it's not about the product?
Yeah.
Because, you could do a Me Too product, a better than product, and all this stuff. But ultimately, in my mind, it's like, what do I want to stand behind? And I feel like I had like this moment of like, God just delivered all of the business stories. Yeah, it's like that. And he just like put it on me. He goes, wow, you know what? You got to put my word on it. I'm like, oh, so I could change millions of lives that way.
Yeah.
Like I'm changing.
Yeah. Eternal.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's an eternal life. So instead of like having people know their significance or their importance in life, what if like this moment, like what if when someone opens a pack, just like I had that moment walking out and seeing my son looking at the ocean, like they could have that moment.
That moment, yeah.
What if that's what it's about? Like they could live with courage.
You're the opposite of liquid death.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I literally was coming up with new companies all the time when I saw that commercial come out.
Yeah.
You know, and they're putting curses over the Super Bowl stadium at Super Bowl. I'm like, where are all my guys that know the power of the confession of your tongue?
Yes.
This is it.
This is it.
This is it.
Yeah.
You can't put lipstick on a pig, so you might as well tell us about how good the product is. You know what I mean? Because no one's going to buy it to have that moment unless you put it on something good.
100%.
You know, you don't want to be the Christian movie.
Yeah.
You know, that sucks. You don't want to be the Yellowstone of the industry.
100%. And so, so we have I do a prayer over every product that we create, but more importantly, not more importantly, that's the most important part actually. But there are ingredients that are bioavailable. So instead of using cheap ingredients and trying to artificially create energy for people, what we're doing is putting bioavailable ingredients and we're putting them specifically together in a way that scientifically delivers faster.
Wow.
So instead of just saying, okay, sugar delivers the electrolytes, yeah, that's great. But what if you could get 2 times the absorption using, a bioavailable D3 and a K2 together?
Wow.
Something that a naturopath will tell you that you need to drink, know, and or take as a pill. So I'm taking the pills and turning it into a drink with an electrolyte drink. So it could be a daily consumption. It's easy to drink. So instead of having to get this droplet and that pill and this thing, you could get your B vitamins, you could get your C vitamin,
epic,
K vitamin, C, and do that all with bioavailable ingredients and in a way that it delivers with electrolytes.
Come on.
So that's our first product.
30 calories, 7 essential vitamins.
Yes.
6 vital minerals.
It's actually 14 essential vitamins and minerals total.
Wow. Yeah.
That's
and the packaging's awesome. Man, I'm drinking one right now, and it's amazing.
Now,
most of the stuff I can't drink because it sucks.
Yeah. So I did this specifically for a reason. One was I want to get people off energy drinks because the caffeine, I think...
Which you would know.
Yes. Caffeine is dehydrating. It's not a great thing to just load up your body with. But what I would do is take them off energy drinks that have all the sugar. You're talking about 13 times the amount of sugar. In one drink, overloaded in caffeine, and I know a lot about the industry, so there's other factors. You have the microplastics.
Well, I can tell you as a chiropractor that I have never seen so many young people with blown out adrenal glands in my life.
Yeah,
adrenal function, just exhaustion, fatigue.
Yeah,
and I'll put them on supplements, but they got to get off the energy drinks.
They got to get off the energy, and it's addictive because there's ingredients and the flavors that make it addictive.
Totally.
So it's a new addiction. I think these convenient beverages is the new addiction in America. I mean, at one time it was smoking that was cool. Now it's like drinking things that are cool.
Yeah.
And I think this is an addiction that's silent.
Yeah.
And don't get me even started on vaping, but I think that drinking is an addiction. And people are thinking, oh, I got to have this flavor. And they're, one of my neighbors in Puerto Rico has a new company called Prime. And not to bash on them, but Prime, for example, it's the addiction to the flavors and collecting these cans and looking cool or bottles more so than it is about what you're putting in your body.
Yeah.
And so I'm in it to combat that. But really what it is I want people to walk away with a word that serves their life, whether they're Christians or not, by the way.
Yeah.
And so it's really simple. We do have scripture on the package. So every time you open it up, you can have your Bible study. Yeah. But you could also scan the QR code and get the message.
Really?
Yeah, that's our new packaging coming out. It's going to be... So we're rebranding as Better Than Water by Hyburst. And it's got a really cool package. It's going to be a black and white slick. I can't wait to see it.
When is this coming?
Well, it's coming in February. Yeah.
Okay,
it's coming in February. So
cool. 2025.
2025. So the new year, new you of Hyburst.
Oh, let's go, man. Why do people give some people why do they need to be taking something like this? Let's just say they're not addicted. Well, one, if you're addicted to caffeinated drinks, and you just have if you look how much money you're spending at Starbucks every day, one, you need to get that.
Yeah.
Number two is for the athlete, anybody that's active. I mean, you're an Ironman guy.
Yeah.
So talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, you're depleted. You're depleting yourself every day. I mean, if you actually take score, if you have a Garmin watch or an Apple Watch, you can see your energy level depleting every day. And so, yeah, if you look at it, I think the number one thing for health and life is water, hydration. And so if your cells are dehydrated, you're really not getting rejuvenated on a daily basis. Now, I'm going to talk to the average person that is, 35 to 55. If you're losing energy, it's not because, you need an energy drink. That's not what's happening. Or you need your coffee every morning or that. And I'm not here to tackle people's coffee because I like a good latte and, flat white too. So
I love a good flat white. Yeah.
So I'm not here to tackle your.
But I am here to say we're abusing it.
We are. We drink more of it. We drink. Some people are now drinking 2 to 3. If you're stopping at a Starbucks on your way to work and on your way back because you want to handle your family, you're drinking like a lot of sugar to start with, and it's mainly sugar as the ingredient.
Yeah.
But what I do want to say why they need to drink this is these essential nutrients and vitamins, and I'm going to specifically go into D3 and K2. D3 and K2 have a synergistic effect. What they do is they help you with, one, your wellness in terms of heart, etc. But what they also do is they help you naturally produce testosterone. So as you're aging,
you drink more of that.
Yeah. So as you're aging, and by the way, ladies, you also need testosterone. Don't think you don't need the testosterone. The doctor would tell you. And so what the D3 and K2 do, they do help you naturally produce some of that testosterone. So you will notice if you drink like a Hyburst for 7 days or a product that has D3 and K2 in it for 7 days straight, you'll naturally notice your energy levels completely change and transform. But why you also need to drink this, and I don't want to go into the specific ingredients, is it helps your mood.
Yeah.
It helps your focus. So when you're not focused, when your mood's off, when you're short, or when you are whatever, I mean, number one, I think spiritually get nourished. That's number one. But number two is get the right nutrients in your body so that you're not reacting. Your body's not in a reactive mode. It's in a responsive mode.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's so true. Most people don't know that one, they get dehydrated from caffeinated drinks. Yep. 2, they're on sugar highs.
Yes.
Adrenals are fatigued.
Yep.
It affects their heart, anxiety, depression.
100%.
I mean, it leads to all this kind of stuff. And people are like, oh, I need it. And then they go drastic. I need to get on this pill. I'm like, no, you need a right product.
Yes.
To hydrate you.
Yes.
To get you balanced. And that's why it affects your mood.
100%. And I will say, those of you that are drinking zero, we were talking about that before we started, those of you that are drinking zero sugar products, watch for what's in it, number one, because you may be drinking xylitol or mannitol or sorbitol.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sugar alcohols in these products, and you may not even see it on the label, but if it tastes too sweet and doesn't have that bitter aftertaste that a lot of products with zero sugar should have, it's likely because they're using sugar alcohols in the flavor system that you will never see. Yeah. And they don't have the legal right. Legally, you don't have to disclose it.
Disclose it.
It's considered a processing aid.
It's laced.
It's laced. You nailed it.
It is laced, yeah.
And so, and I think Robert Kennedy is going to probably handle some of these things, by the way. And I'm really excited about him because he knows this stuff.
Yep.
So what's happening is they're actually tricking you to think it's sweet, and it's not. And that stuff is going to cause bloating. It's going to cause gastro problems. It's going to cause gut health issues. And so you got to watch for those things. So zero sugar, number one, I wouldn't drink it for that reason or have my son drink it. Number two, you need the sugars. You need the sugar to deliver. And we've made sugar so bad to a point that people are like, well, I don't want to have a real drink that would maybe help me. I'd rather have my other sweet stuff and not have it. And if my philosophy on this is, I'm not a physician, but my philosophy on this, and as an expert in food, beverage, supplement manufacturing and raw material manufacture is that, well, and I don't believe in moderation, quote unquote. I'm an all in guy. You're either all in, you're all out. But I'm all in on a healthy lifestyle. And a healthy lifestyle, you need the sugar. You need the sugar to deliver nutrients. Yeah. And so
it was a wake up call. I was just hanging out with an expert guy, and I was training with him. He lives in Texas. And he saw the stuff I was drinking, and he goes, hey, that's crap. Yeah. I said, bro, I had this tested. It is what it says it is. And he goes, no, there's no sugar in it. I said, oh, that's a good thing. And he goes, no. Tells me you haven't done your research. Yeah. Because I only take care of pro athletes. You need a vehicle.
You need a vehicle to deliver
to deliver it.
Yes.
And he goes, so you could take it and it's going right through you. So you're spending a lot of money on stuff that's not effective. Yeah. I was so devastated. And then he started talking about, he said there wasn't a lot out there. And so I'm pumped because he was going to make his own.
Yeah.
And I'm pumped that I'm
You got to
able
get me in connection with them.
trust me, you're about my
Let's do
first
it.
text message.
Yeah, and the other thing is we have L-theanine in the product, which helps with focus, and it's clinically proven. It helps with focus and mental clarity. And again, the bioavailable ingredients are there. You could read all about it, of course. So
Well, listen, I appreciate you for a number of reasons. One is you don't do anything half-ass.
thank you.
There's the only one way to say it. You go after, you're passionate about your family. You're passionate about helping other people. And I know, because I've watched you, how you are with your boy. I've watched you how you are with your bride. I've watched you how done so many, I know a lot of people that have been through coaching with, you guys.
Thank you.
Just to see the breakthrough. I know this is just your latest endeavor and you've got a lot of passion and purpose behind it. Yeah. So it doesn't even, in my mind, I mean, when are you in Costco? Are you in Costco already?
We're not, but we're talking to some retailers for 2026.
Yeah.
We're strategically want to get a grassroots. We got some really cool things coming next year in 2025 that is not fully solidified, but we've got an event coming out that's going to be a national event. That's going to be incredible. We're looking to bring a lot of people and do some really cool things.
Oh, well, I better get the invite. So
yeah, you've got the invite.
How do we find out this product now? Where do we go?
Hyburst.com.
Hyburst.com.
Yeah, we're also on Amazon right now. And I would say if you don't like a salty product, this is not your product because it does have a salty profile to it. But it is a great tasting.
Who doesn't like a salty diet?
I don't know. There's some people that say they don't like saltiness. And I'm like, well, this is an electrolyte drink. So
yeah.
It does have the minerals and the salt. And so you're going to get a little bit of that profile.
Dude, just let me do one urine analysis on them or a blood lab and they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry you don't like the salt, but look at your body. You need salt.
Yeah, you definitely do. And by the way, I had a natural
drink pickle juice.
Yeah, you gotta drink it. You have to have it. Exactly.
I do.
Yeah, exactly.
Anytime my kids seem a little off, I'm like, go grab the pickle jar. Yeah. I have more pickle juice because I was like, I'm not going to, wait around them. I was like, I know they're going to get nutrients out of that.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love that. And so it does have 500 milligrams of sodium. And it has a balanced electrolyte, so it's not just overloading on sodium. We have a high level of potassium, and then we have a magnesium glycinate, which is bioavailable, versus just using other forms of it. But it's available on Hyburst. It's also available on Amazon. And
don't buy corporation stuff that's crap garbage. You find a nerd and you invest in that. You know what I mean?
The nerd.
You're bro, I tell people all the time, I'm surrounded. I love the nerdiest people in the world because you're the ones that change the world. Yeah. Elon Musk, he's like, yep, I'm the nerdiest guy I know.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, you're the
awesome.
Ballsiest guy I know.
Sure is, isn't he?
But I love that. That's how you change the world. He just, they asked him, hey, is it going to cost you money for, what you tweet? Are you going to tone down your tweeting now that you're taking this new role? And he paused for 12 seconds. It got the most awkward pause. And then he quoted Princess Bride.
I love it.
And they go, so what you're saying is you don't care? And he goes, exactly.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
It's going to cost me money. So be it. I was like.
And did you see the news last night? He's the richest man in the world in history?
No.
As of last night? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
He's doing something right. Well, listen, I appreciate you. If you're going to leave us with one message today, and I'll get all the details and we'll have it on the podcast where they can order this. But if you wanted to leave one about the product, about their health, about their future, about their faith, what's one thing that you want to leave that's going to resonate that you want them to hear you say?
Oh, man, I think a lot of people talk about purpose. And I've been one that's talked about know your purpose and your passion. But the one thing I would leave people with is, for me, this has become really true and I've realized that God's purpose for me is to serve as many people as I can. So if you want to be a great entrepreneur or maverick entrepreneur, go out and serve everyone in the world so that their life improves. And if you focus on that, there's no way you could ever fail in business.
That's so good. That's so good. Well, thank you, man. That's wisdom. And you got the fruit to back it up, man. And there's so much fluff out there that I only want to, I don't care about the hype. I care about the real deal. Yeah. And to me, one thing that I really respect out of you, man, family is everything to me. And just to see how you be with your family is the type of fruit. Whenever I meet someone, I always say, I have to magnify it. And I go, I want 1,000 of Steve. I want 1,000 of Michael. And when I meet somebody, I go, I want 1,000 of them. Because some people, they're cool one-on-one. But if I said I want 1,000 of them, I get nervous because no, never mind. I don't want 1,000 of those. If I say I want 1,000 of those, that means that's how much that person levels up my life. And when I met you and I watched you, I was like, oh man. And when I say, man, I want 1,000 of those. I want 1,000 Ashes.
Thank you.
Because you could change the world.
Thank you.
You alone are going to change the
You're
world.
going to change my one thing answer now.
No.
You got to make me change it.
No.
I'm going to no, and because you got me thinking. I'm like, I see sometimes like there's some really amazing people at Awaken, and I've been blessed. Like my family and I have been so blessed. It saved my soul. Let's start with that. It could save my life, but it saved my soul.
Yeah.
And that's why I am with my family. I remember a day in church, and I was so resistant to going. And my wife was like, let's go. I remember exactly where we parked at North Campus. Pastor Jurgen was speaking that day. And I'm shaking talking about it because it's just so clean for me. I remember where I parked. I went in. In my head, I was like, there's no way this relationship could work. In my head, there's no way this relationship could work. Next thing I know, I'm raising my hand at the end, accepting Jesus, walking up to meet Pastor Jurgen, praying over me. And we left that date different.
Wow.
And so the one thing I would leave people with, and so it's like 1,000 up. I want 1,000 up that. I want 1,000 up people that are amazing leaders sharing the word with people like Pastor John, Pastor Becky, yourself, your wife, Jurgen, Rex Crane. I want 1,000 up on people like that in my life.
Yeah.
Because I think the one thing I would really, now it's becoming like full clarity for me, is like the one thing I would want people to walk away with is find God's purpose on your life and do that.
Yeah.
And be that for people.
Oh, yeah.
And that will level up everything in life. Find God's purpose in everything. It's not about your purpose or your passion, because that's all worldly. It's all made up, makeshift. I understood marketing when I understood God.
Yeah.
And his calling. And that will level up everything, because it's not a gimmick. It's not a thing. It's not a worldly thing we just create out of our mind. It's, it's like this man's search for me is God's search purpose on your life. You search.
Eagerly desire.
Yes.
Eagerly desire.
Yeah.
That gift.
Yeah. And that's when everything hit home for me, is when I found God's purpose. I feel like I already know where this is going. I already know where my life's going.
That's cool. That's awesome, man. Well, that's a whole other answer.
Yeah.
That's
a whole
good,
other
man.
answer.
That's a whole thing. Well, hey, listen, everybody. I know we're going to have to do something in the future.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll come down to Puerto Rico and we'll do a live recap right there.
Would love
Maverick Entrepreneur in Puerto Rico. That sounds good to me. I'm sitting here freezing in San Diego.
I've got a rip of people for you to come to interview that are extraordinary.
Oh, don't tease me. I'll do it.
Yes, let's do it.
All right. I'm grabbing the crew. We're going to fly down there and make it happen. So, well, listen, everybody, I hope you just enjoyed, be inspired by just stories like this of, it is a man's search for meaning, and along the way found his purpose, and he's doing it with his family, and he's going to make a big impact. So check out Hyburst. We'll get you the details on that, but make it this year your best year. If you could just do one thing every month, I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to drink this 7 days in a row. I'm going to not drink crap. I'm not going to get caffeinated drinks from a store for 30 days. Watch how just making that one thing this month. Next month, make it a new thing. If you just did 12 things this year, just one thing a month, your life would look completely different, I promise you. So test me in this, says the Lord. You can take this test straight to the bank, and we want your feedback. So email us, DM us, hit us up, and we want to hear what's happening in your life, how you like the product, and send us any questions you may have, and we'll try to answer them. But thank you for watching this episode of The Maverick Entrepreneur. We'll see you at the next one.